You ever get the feeling that these rappers are all talk when it comes to their beefs? I mean, it doesn't look like people are actually looking to stir up anything too bad with their competition outside of just a handful of clever bars. But RIZZLE Squad. It turns out that Ye is actually looking to take his beef with Drake to the next level. For the past few months, it's been no secret that both Kanye and Drake haven't necessarily been on the best of terms. From Kanye leaking addresses to Drake releasing Kanye's track with Andre, Kanye is hot and now spoiling for a fight. This isn't just a few shy words though. He's looking to go on Versuz and show Drake who the GOAT really is to his face. Since the feud is still going, Swizz Beatz has thrown his hat into the ring saying that Ye was willing to come on the show if it meant him battling Drake. You can say that the timing fell through and all that, but come on. These are two of the biggest rappers in the game right now, and they already have one of the biggest rivalries of the decade. To get them both out on stage trying to one-up each other is too good for either of them to pass up. Even though nothing is set in stone, it looks like the fans would be having a field day if this actually manages to go down. I mean, it appears that a lot of people are in Ye's corner too, with a lot of the comments on Twitter talking about how he's wiping the floor with Drizzy from the moment his track starts playing. Hell, there are even some fans saying that all Ye would need to do to beat Drake at his own game is to just recycle bars from Graduation. It's not like Drake is in the clear when it comes to his pen game either, since most of his first few mixtapes were working off of samples taken from 808s and Heartbreak. He's going to have to come correct if he's willing to face off against one of his heroes. Then again, this might be where he finally has to take an L for an album cycle. If you ever try to start a beef with somebody like Kanye, things are going to get a lot messier once you start putting actual bars in the equation. From the sounds of some of these people, they're expecting a fair fight with Drake not accepting any sort of ghostwriters or anything or biting off anybody's stick in the process. After all, if you say you're bringing your A game, it might help if it's actually your A game. You know what I'm saying? These folks are also putting the rest of the numbers into account. While Ye and Drizzy might be equal players when it comes to the hit counters, you've got a lot of users going back and forth on who's the better lyricist. You've had Drake go for some harsh bars every now and again, but you also have Ye coming up with songs like Power, which is still one of the most maximalist rap songs ever conceived. And that's what most people are talking about more than anything, the production of each of their tracks for this Versuz. Having this show being co-created by Swizz Beatz wasn't an accident. You're gonna have to have some untouchable beat behind you if you want to come out on top, and Kanye has been working at that for years. Compared to the kind of stuff that Drake had on his latest record, Ye has always been stellar behind the board and will definitely bring out the big guns if it means laying his competition out in the dirt. That's just the Kanye stance though. You've also got a slew of devotees for our certified lover boy himself rolling in too. Oh, and they're coming out the woodwork with raw numbers to prove it. One minute you'll have fans talking about how Drake's hit counter is way longer than Kanye could ever hope for, and the next minute you're having someone else go off about how Ye's church boy shtick will leave him without a leg to stand on in the arena. Hell, you even got the backhanded compliments coming from the Drizzy side. Since Drake came up with someone like Ye as an inspiration, you've got fans willing to defend the early Ye, but calling what he's doing now trash. Trust me, it doesn't get any better than someone going on and on about how Ye changed the game and was untouchable a few years ago, but is now a trash rapper. More than anything though, you also have the fans who are way too tired of the feuding to even care anymore. From the looks of the socials, you can see that some of these fans are just so tired of seeing their favorite artists go back and forth so much. While you occasionally have the trolls saying that both of these guys truly only put out mid-level material, you got others saying that the only way it'll happen is if the show forks over a couple millions both ways. Yeah, it might be a good chunk of change to get them both on the square, but when you have someone like Kanye who's already willing to go to war, it might look like a decent payday for you too. Since this is a Versuz though, we haven't talked about the elephant in the room either. What the hell does Swizz actually make of this whole thing? When he was talking to Timbaland about the deal going down, he was actually more in Kanye's corner than anybody else. Then again, it's not surprising when you realize Drake called out Swizz for allegedly leaking a couple of bars from one of his songs a while back. Maybe he's got some money invested in Ye walking away with that W. On the other hand, you also have him commending Drizzy on some of the stuff that he had put out, including some of the diss tracks that Drake made towards him. When talking to Timbaland about his feuding with Drake back in the day, he said, "He could have said many things. That man is a clever artist. He's a very clever artist. He could have really gave me about 40 bars. And this is coming from a man who's already been dissed by Drake once in his life. So maybe Kanye might be coming on a little stronger than we might realize. At the moment, there hasn't really been anything going on up front either, so it's anyone's guess as to whether we actually see a Versuz coming up. That might speak more volumes than it probably lets on. As one fan on Twitter says, Kanye might need this whole thing more than Drake does, and that's not even wrong either. Considering that this is a man who has devoted his life to his faith in the past few years, this might be the time where Ye hunkers down and proves to the world why he's still the hip-hop wonder child that he was always known to be. We're going to have to see how the whole thing plays out though. Even though people are saying that Kanye might be going crazy at this point, it's not like he's a smart businessman at the end of the day. For anyone to even think about having this thing come together, the entire hip-hop community might concave on itself. The dude might be a hype beast for his own music, but you can never count on Ye when it comes to absolutely smoking his competition. Out of all the bickering back and forth on who's the true goat of the hip-hop community, Ye still seems to have his fans firmly in his corner here. Whereas Drake might just, have more of a devoted following at this point. One user ended up putting it best when he said, Drake may have more hits, but Ye's hits are timeless. Since the sounds of College Dropout are still able to get the crowd going today, Drake's gonna have an uphill battle to make sure that he isn't taken to school by his former mentor. Just the thought of something like this could be a dream for the hip-hop community right now. Truly, imagine what you went through seeing in the battle rap scenes in 8 Mile, then put it against two of the biggest power players in the game right now. That's the equivalent of what this feels like for the hip-hop community. We got the king of the industry right now with Drake going toe-to-toe with one of the greatest producers of the past decade, looking to smoke his competition at any cost. Depending on whose corner you're in right now, you can't deny that Kanye is prepared to go out with all guns blazing. That's all that's been said right now though. Do you think Ye will actually come through and get Drake to do a Versuz though? More importantly, who y'all got as the one walking away with the W here? Be sure to leave it in the comments and let everybody know. Other than that, be sure to like and subscribe and keep it tuned into RIZZLE to make sure you don't miss out when the greatest in the hip-hop community go head to head. Take it easy and remember to keep your head on a swivel, RIZZLE Squad. Deuces.